The harsh metallic wind whipped across Proxima 9's desolate surface, carrying tiny particles of rust and radiation-scorched debris. Jay's emergency scanner flickered, its pale blue light cutting through the darkness like a desperate heartbeat. Something moved in the distant shadows, something small, definitely not standard colony protocol. Most would have ignored the movement. Most would have continued their evacuation sequence. But Jay wasn't like most reconnaissance specialists. His family had generations of deep space explorers, and curiosity ran in his blood, like an uncontrollable circuit. The creature was huddled behind a fractured titanium panel, trembling. Not a human child, not a standard alien species either. Its skin shifted colors, a remarkable biological defense mechanism that suggested advanced evolutionary adaptation. Soft bioluminescent patches pulsed with what seemed like fear and confusion. Proxima 9 was supposed to be a routine mineral extraction colony. 17 different alien species had mining contracts here, each with complex interstellar agreements. But something had gone catastrophically wrong. Radiation warnings, emergency protocols, complete abandonment. Jay's spacecraft, a sleek K-770 reconnaissance model, hummed quietly behind him. Its quantum adaptive shields protected against the harsh environmental conditions. Standard procedure would demand immediate retreat, scan, report, leave. But the creature looked directly at him. Its eyes weren't just eyes. They were complex neural receptors that seemed to communicate entire emotional landscapes in milliseconds. Fear, confusion, desperate hope. Survival instinct burning brighter than the colony's dying reactor cores. "Hey," Jay whispered, switching his universal translator to its most gentle frequency. "You're safe now." The creature, which Jay would later learn was named Kira, didn't understand language, but it understood intention. Something in Jay's voice, in his careful movement, suggested safety. Robotic drones buzzed overhead, conducting final sweep protocols. Massive automated mining machines stood frozen, their massive mechanical limbs suspended in permanent working positions. An entire industrial ecosystem abandoned in moments. Kira's species was unknown. No standard xenobiological database could instantly categorize its genetic structure. Translucent skin revealed intricate internal systems that seemed to adapt millisecond by millisecond. A living, breathing miracle of evolutionary complexity. Jay's hand moved slowly. No sudden movements. Years of deep space exploration had taught him that first contact required patience, respect, and minimal threat display. The colony's emergency systems began automatic shutdown sequences. Massive blast doors started sealing. Automated defense mechanisms prepared for complete site isolation. This was a place designed to be forgotten, to be erased from galactic memory. But Kira remained. One creature, left behind, forgotten by an entire civilization. Jay's communication implant buzzed. Mission control demanded immediate extraction. Radiation. Levels were climbing. Structural integrity was compromising. Every logical system screamed, "Leave now!" But something in Kira's eyes spoke a language beyond logic, a universal communication of vulnerability, of hope. "I'm not leaving you," Jay whispered, switching his environmental suit to maximum protective mode. The first step towards rescue wasn't technological, it was emotional. A decision made in a split second that would change everything, massive holographic. Warning signs flashed. Immediate evacuation required. Radiation level critical. Jay picked up Kira, his specialized suit creating an instantaneous protective bubble. The creature weighed almost nothing, barely 6 standard kilograms, fragile, delicate. A living contradiction to the harsh mining environment. As they moved towards the spacecraft, automated defense systems tracked their movement, robotic sentinels. Silent witnesses to an unexpected rescue. The K-770's quantum engines prepared for emergency acceleration. Navigation systems calculated fastest safe routes away from the dying colony. Every millisecond counted. Kira made no sound, no cry, no protest. Just a subtle color change that suggested profound trust was being established. One human, one unknown creature. A moment that would rewrite interstellar understanding. Proxima 9 disappeared behind them, a forgotten memory, a dead industrial dream. But something new was just beginning. Rescue protocol initiated. Mission status: unconventional. Outcome: unknown. The medical bay of the research vessel hummed with soft, pulsing light. Dr. Hyun Park's hands moved with practiced precision, her neural-linked diagnostic tools scanning every millimeter of Kira's unusual physiology. Holographic displays danced around her, translating biological data into complex visual patterns. Outside the reinforced windows, distant star systems glimmered like scattered diamonds. The ship, a cutting-edge medical research vessel named Hope, Horizon, was more than just transportation. It was a floating laboratory of possibility. Kira's body was a biological puzzle. Temperature fluctuations happened faster than standard medical computers could track. Cellular regeneration occurred in patterns completely alien to human understanding. Each scan revealed something more extraordinary than the last. "This is impossible," Hyun muttered, adjusting her advanced neural interface glasses. Her grandfather, a pioneering xenobiologist, would have given anything to see this moment. The medical AI, a quantum-powered system named Aria, continuously analyzed data. Its holographic interface flickered with warning signs and complex mathematical equations. Something about Kira's biological structure defied every known scientific understanding. Jay watched from the observation deck, his reconnaissance training making him both cautious and curious. He'd rescued many things in his career, but never something that challenged scientific understanding so completely. Specialized medical robots moved around Kira, their delicate manipulator arms creating protective energy fields. These weren't standard medical machines. They were adaptive quantum systems capable of responding to millisecond changes in biological conditions. Her cellular structure is adaptive, Hyun spoke out loud, more to herself than anyone else. It's like her entire biological system is one massive learning network. Kira's skin continued its mesmerizing color changes. Blues, greens, soft purples that seemed to communicate emotional states beyond human comprehension. Each color shift was a language, a communication method completely unknown to human science. The ship's chief engineer, a veteran of multiple deep space missions, entered the medical bay. His cybernetic eye, a replacement after a previous mission accident, scanned Kira with multiple spectrum wavelengths. "I've never seen anything like this," he admitted, his voice a mix of professional curiosity and genuine wonder. Aria's holographic interface began constructing potential biological models. Thousands of scenarios played out in milliseconds. Survival, simulations, genetic projection maps, potential evolutionary pathways. Hyun noticed something extraordinary. Despite being in a completely alien environment, Kira's biological systems were actively adapting, not just surviving, but learning, transforming, growing. A small robotic drone approached, its scanning mechanisms careful and precise. Kira's response was unexpected. Instead of fear, there was curiosity. The drone's sensors detected something remarkable: preliminary communication attempts. "She's trying to understand," Hyun whispered. "Not just survive, understand." Emergency communication signals from Proxima 9 continued in the background. Automated distress beacons, radiation warnings. The colony was truly dead, a industrial grave floating in deep space. But Kira represented something else, a spark, a possibility. Jay approached the medical bay's observation window. His hands, rough from years of space exploration, touched the reinforced glass. Something about this rescue felt different, not just a mission, something more. The ship's quantum drive hummed softly. Distant star systems continued their eternal dance. And in this small medical bay, something extraordinary was happening. A first contact that nobody had predicted. A rescue that would change everything. Biological anomaly detected. Communication protocol. Experimental survival. Probability. Recalculating. The research vessel's nutrition laboratory looked more like a high-tech science fiction set than a medical facility. Specialized containment chambers surrounded Kira, each designed to simulate multiple environmental conditions simultaneously. Hyun's team worked like a perfectly synchronized orchestra, each member contributing their unique expertise. Liquid nutrient streams flowed through transparent tubes, changing composition every few milliseconds. Advanced spectral analyzers broke down each molecular structure, searching for potential compatibility with Kira's unique biological system. "We're essentially creating a living nutritional algorithm," Hyun explained to Jay, her hands dancing across holographic interfaces. Complex mathematical projections mapped potential metabolic pathways, each calculation more intricate than the last. Kira's body continued its remarkable color-changing demonstration. Blues merged into soft greens, then transformed into complex purple patterns that seemed to communicate internal biological responses. It wasn't just color change, it was a language. The ship's quantum computer, ARIA, processed billions of calculations per second. Potential nutrition scenarios flickered across multiple screens, each representing a potential survival pathway for this extraordinary creature. Robotic nanonutritionists moved with incredible precision. These weren't simple machines, but advanced, quantum adaptive systems capable of making instantaneous molecular adjustments. They analyzed every microscopic interaction, every potential chemical response. "Her cellular structure absorbs information faster than any known biological system," the chief medical analyst remarked, his cybernetic eye scanning multiple data streams simultaneously. "She's not just consuming nutrition, she's learning from..." Outside the laboratory's reinforced windows, distant star systems drifted silently. The Hope Horizon moved through space like a living research organism dedicated to understanding the impossible. Jay watched from the observation deck, his reconnaissance training giving him a unique perspective. He'd seen many strange things in deep space, but nothing compared to this living puzzle named Kira. Specialized energy fields surrounded the nutrition chambers. These weren't simple protective barriers, but complex quantum interfaces designed to minimize potential biological stress. Each field adjusted millisecond by millisecond, responding to Kira's internal changes. "We're essentially creating a living communication system," Hyun muttered, more to herself than anyone else. Her neural-linked diagnostic tools continued their relentless analysis. Kira's response to each nutritional experiment was nothing short of miraculous. Where standard biological systems would reject unfamiliar substances, this creature seemed to integrate and understand them. Each molecular interaction was a learning experience. The ship's medical team worked in perfect synchronization. Veteran space researchers, quantum biologists, adaptive technology specialists, each bringing their unique expertise to solve this extraordinary puzzle. Automated medical drones moved around Kira, their quantum sensors capturing every microscopic change. These weren't simple machines but adaptive learning systems, each interaction adding to a growing database of understanding. "Her biological system isn't just surviving," the chief medical analyst observed. "It's evolving, adapting, growing." Emergency. Communication signals from abandoned colonies continued in the background. Distant radiation warnings, automated distress beacons. But here, in this small laboratory, something extraordinary was happening. Hyun's hands moved across the holographic interfaces with practiced precision. Each movement was calculated, deliberate, a dance of scientific exploration. Aria's quantum processors continued their relentless calculations. Thousands of potential scenarios played out simultaneously. Survival models, biological projection maps, potential evolutionary pathways. Jay watched, understanding that this was more than a simple rescue mission. This was first contact. This was exploration in its purest form. The nutrition laboratory continued its complex symphony. Molecular streams, quantum sensors, adaptive technologies, all focused on understanding one extraordinary creature. Kira remained at the center, silent, observing, learning, a living testament to the universe's endless capacity for surprise. Nutritional, protocol, experimental, biological adaptation, continuous survival probability increasing. Weeks blended into a complex dance of discovery. The Hope Horizons observation deck became Kira's classroom, a universe of learning compressed into small, meaningful interactions. Hyun discovered that communication wasn't about language, it was about intention. Each gesture, each subtle movement, became a bridge between two entirely different forms of intelligence. Kira's color-changing skin was more than a biological feature. It was a complex emotional language waiting to be understood. Robotic learning modules surrounded the young alien, creating interactive holographic environments. Quantum adaptive screens displayed multiple sensory experiences: Earth landscapes, galactic formations, microscopic cellular structures. Kira absorbed information like a living sponge, her biological systems processing data faster than any known computer. Jay noticed something extraordinary during their interaction sessions. Kira wasn't just learning human communication, she was reimagining it. Complex emotional states translated through subtle skin color shifts. A deep blue might represent curiosity. A soft green suggested comfort. Rapid purple patterns indicated excitement or rapid cognitive processing. The ship's advanced neural translation systems worked over time. What started as experimental communication protocols transformed into something revolutionary. Arya, the quantum AI, began creating entirely new communication models based on Kira's unique biological responses. "She's not just learning our language," the linguistic specialist remarked, her cybernetic implants processing multiple data streams. "She's creating an entirely new communication framework." Training simulations became intricate dance of understanding. Kira learned human gestures with remarkable speed. A simple hand wave, a nod of understanding. Each movement became a complex negotiation between two entirely different biological systems. Specialized holographic environments surrounded her learning space. One moment, she experienced the dense forests of Earth's Amazon. The next, she explored the crystalline landscapes of distant exoplanets. Each experience was a learning opportunity, each interaction a bridge between unknown worlds. The medical team watched in astonishment. Where standard xenobiological protocols suggested months or years of adaptation, Kira was learning in weeks. Her biological system seemed to have an almost quantum approach to understanding. Absorbing, processing, reimagining. Jay began spending more time in the observation deck. His reconnaissance background gave him a unique perspective. This wasn't just a scientific experiment. This was first contact in its purest form. Kira's interactions with robotic learning modules became increasingly complex. She didn't just respond to programmed scenarios. She began predicting them, anticipating, creating her own learning pathways. "It's like she's writing her own cognitive software," the chief technological officer remarked, watching the intricate holographic displays. Specialized sensory interfaces allowed limited emotional exchanges. Where language failed, color and energy patterns succeeded. Kira could communicate complex emotional states through subtle biological shifts that the ship's advanced sensors could interpret. The Hope Horizon became more than a research vessel. It transformed into a living learning environment dedicated to understanding this extraordinary creature. Distant star systems continued their eternal dance outside the reinforced windows. Automated communication systems continued receiving background signals from abandoned colonies. But inside this small observation deck, something miraculous was happening. A connection was forming, not just between species, but between entirely different forms of intelligence. Hyun watched Kira interact with a complex quantum learning module, her scientific detachment slowly transforming into something deeper. Wonder, respect, a genuine connection that transcended traditional scientific boundaries. The ship's quantum computers continued their relentless calculations. Thousands of potential interaction scenarios played out simultaneously, but none could fully predict the extraordinary journey of understanding that was unfolding. Kira looked up, her color-changing skin creating a complex emotional landscape. In that moment, something became clear. This wasn't just a rescue. This was the beginning of something entirely new. Communication protocol, quantum. Biological understanding, expanding. Potential, infinite. The diplomatic vessel arrived without warning, its massive quantum drive engines creating silent ripples in the fabric of space. Sleek, intimidating, representing an alien civilization that had abandoned Kira without a second thought. Diplomatic protocols demanded precision, but nothing could. Prepare the alien delegation for what they would discover. Kira stood at the center of the Hope Horizon's primary communication chamber, surrounded by a team of human researchers. Her skin shifted in complex patterns, not just a biological feature, but a language of extraordinary complexity. The alien diplomats were a collective species known for their rigid, hierarchical structure, cold, calculated, driven by survival, algorithms that left no room for individual compassion. Their exoskeletal structures moved with mechanical precision, communication happening through complex electromagnetic pulses. "We are here to document the unauthorized biological specimen," the lead diplomat announced, its translation matrix producing a sterile, emotionless sound. Hyun stepped forward. Her stance was calm but unmistakably protective. Years of research had transformed this from a scientific mission to something deeply personal. Jay activated the holographic presentation system. Thousands of data points materialized, Kira's learning, progression, biological adaptations, communication developments. Each projection told a story of extraordinary transformation. The quantum AI, Aria, began presenting a comprehensive report. Not just scientific data, but a narrative of survival, of connection, of unexpected humanity. Kira's color patterns began to tell a story. Her skin became a living communication device, displaying memories of rescue. The moment Jay found her. The careful medical interventions, the patient learning. Each color shift was a testimony to human compassion. The alien diplomats' communication matrices struggled to process the information. Their biological understanding was based on cold statistical survival protocols. This was something entirely different. Robotic translation systems worked overtime. Complex emotional landscapes translated into diplomatic language. But the true communication was happening beyond words, in the space between understanding. "Your protocols abandoned a living being," Hyun said quietly. "We chose differently." The ship's communication chamber became a battlefield of ideologies. Alien mathematical survival calculations confronted human emotional intelligence. Each moment was a negotiation between entirely different approaches to existence. Kira moved forward. Her biological systems had learned more than language. She had learned connection, compassion, the extraordinary human capacity to value individual life. The alien diplomats' electromagnetic communication patterns became chaotic. Their rigid computational systems struggled to process what they were experiencing. A rescued specimen, transformed, enhanced, living proof of an alternative approach to survival. Jay watched from the observation deck. His reconnaissance training had prepared him for many scenarios, but not this. Not a moment that could potentially rewrite interstellar understanding. Aria's quantum processors captured every microscopic interaction, diplomatic protocols, emotional exchanges, biological transformations. Each moment became a potential historical record. "We request comprehensive biological data," the lead diplomat announced. But the request felt hollow. Something fundamental had changed. Kira's skin began displaying a complex communication pattern, not just a response, a statement, a living testimony to the power of unexpected compassion. The Hope Horizon's communication systems hummed with potential. Outside its reinforced windows, distant star systems continued their eternal dance. But inside this chamber, something extraordinary was happening. A transformation was occurring, not just of one individual, but of entire understanding of what survival could mean. Hyun watched, Jay observed, the alien diplomats processed, and Kira stood at the center, a living bridge between worlds, proving that compassion was the most powerful form of communication. Diplomatic protocol disrupted. biological. Understanding transformed, potential redefined.